Hey guys, welcome to Medifaction. So today let's learn about the anatomy of pleura. The pleura is a thin layer of tissue that covers the lungs and lines the interior wall of the chest cavity. It protects and cushions the lungs. So to learn more about pleura, let's begin. In this video, I'm going to enumerate an introduction about pleura, and we're also going to discuss about some layers of the pleura, which are pulmonary pleura and parietal pleura, followed by the pulmonary ligament. We're also going to discuss about the recess of pleura also, and finally, we are going to talk about the nerve supply, blood supply, and lymphatics, along with some important clinical anatomy related with pleura. Let's start. Introduction. Like the peritoneum, the pleura is a serous membrane which is lined by mesothelium or flattened epithelium. There are two pleural sacs, one on either side of the mediastinum. Each pleural sac is invaginated from its medial side by the lung, so that it has an outer layer, the parietal pleura, and an inner layer, the visceral or pulmonary pleura. This outer layer is the parietal pleura, and this inner layer is the visceral pleura. The two layers are continuous with each other around the hilum of the lung and enclose between them a potential space, the pleural cavity. Pulmonary or visceral pleura. The serous layer of pulmonary pleura covers the surfaces and fissures of the lung, except at the hilum and along the attachment of pulmonary ligament, where it is continuous with the parietal pleura. It is firmly adherent to the lung and cannot be separated from it. Talking about parietal pleura, the parietal pleura is thicker than pleura, and it is subdivided into following four parts. Number 1, costal. Number 2, diaphragmatic. Number 3, mediastinal. And number 4, cervical. So, as I told, this is the inner part, the visceral pleura, and the outer parietal pleura. And this white portion here is the pleural cavity. This is lungs, this is the lungs, this is the heart, and this is the diaphragm. The costal pleura lines the thoracic wall, which comprises ribs and intercostal spaces, to which it is loosely attached by a layer of areolar tissue called the endothoracic fascia. The mediastinal pleura lines the corresponding surface of the mediastinum. It is reflected over the root of the lung and becomes continuous with the pulmonary pleura around the hilum. The cervical pleura extends into the neck nearly 5 cm above the first costal cartilage and 2.5 cm above the medial 1/3 of the clavicle and covers the apex of the lung. It is covered by the suprapleural membrane. Cervical pleura is related anteriorly to the subclavian artery and the scalenus anterior, posteriorly to the neck of the first rib and structures lying over it, laterally to the scalenus medius, and medially to the large vessels of the neck. Diaphragmatic pleura lines the superior aspect of diaphragm. It covers the base of the lung and gets continuous with mediastinal pleura medially and costal pleura laterally. Pulmonary ligament. The parietal pleura surrounding the root of the lung extends downwards beyond the root as a fold called the pulmonary ligament. Here is the pulmonary ligament. Here you can see the costal part. This here is the mediastinal part. Here is the diaphragmatic part. And here you can locate the pulmonary ligament. So this fold contains a thin layer of loose areolar tissue with a few lymphatics. Actually, it provides a dead space into which the pulmonary veins can expand during increased venous return as in exercise. The lung roots can also descend into it with the descent of the diaphragm. Recesses of pleura. There are two recesses of parietal pleura which act as a reserve spaces for the lung to expand during deep inspiration. The costo-mediastinal recess lies anteriorly behind the sternum and costal cartilages between the costal and mediastinal pleura, particularly in relation to the cardiac notch of the left lung. This recess is filled up by the anterior margin of the lungs even during quiet breathing. It is only obvious in the region of the cardiac notch of the lung. The costo-diaphragmatic recess lies inferiorly between the costal and diaphragmatic pleura. Vertically, it measures about 5 cm and extends from the 8th to 10th rib along the mid-axillary line. During inspiration, the lungs expand into these recesses. So these recesses are obvious only in expiration and not in deep inspiration. So this right here, this space is costo-diaphragmatic recess, otherwise pleural cavity. This small space which you can identify here is the costo-mediastinal recess. Now let's check the nerve supply of the pleura. The parietal pleura develops from the somatopleuric layer of the lateral plate mesoderm and is supplied by the somatic nerves. These are the intercostal and phrenic nerves. The parietal pleura is pain sensitive. The costal and peripheral parts of the diaphragmatic pleura are supplied by the intercostal nerves and the mediastinal pleura and central part of the diaphragmatic pleura by phrenic nerves. The pulmonary pleura develops from the flancopleuric layer of the lateral plate mesoderm and is supplied by autonomic nerves. The sympathetic nerves are derived from the second to fifth sympathetic ganglia, while parasympathetic nerves are drawn from the vagus nerve. The nerve accompany the bronchial vessels. This part of the pleura is not sensitive to pain. Sympathetic dilates the bronchi while parasympathetic narrows the bronchial tree and is also secretory to the glands. So this right here is the cervical and costal part of the parietal pleura innervated by intercostal nerves. This is the visceral pleura innervated by autonomic nerves. Here you can appreciate the mediastinal and central diaphragmatic part of the parietal pleura, phrenic nerve, which also supplies the diaphragm. Blood supply and lymphatic drainage. The parietal pleura is part of the thoracic wall. Its blood supply and lymphatic drainage are therefore the same as that of the body wall. It is thus supplied by intercostal, internal thoracic, and musculophrenic arteries. The veins drain mostly to the azygos and internal thoracic veins. The lymphatic drain into the intercostal, internal mammary, posterior mediastinal, and diaphragmatic nodes. The pulmonary pleura, like the lung, is supplied by bronchial arteries, while the veins drain into bronchial veins. It is filled by bronchopulmonary lymph nodes. Now let's check some important clinical anatomy. Number 1. Aspiration of any fluid from the pleural cavity is called paracentesis thoracis. It is usually done in the 8th intercostal space in the mid-axillary line. The needle is passed through the lower part of the space to avoid injury to the principal neurovascular bundle, that is, veins, arteries, and nerves. Some clinical conditions associated with pleura are as follows. A. Pleurisy. This is inflammation of the pleura. It may be dry, but often it is accompanied by collection of fluid in the pleural cavity. The condition is called the pleural effusion. Dry pleurisy is more painful because during inspiration both layers come in contact and there is friction. B. Pneumothorax. Presence of air in the pleural cavity. C. Hemothorax. Presence of blood in the pleural cavity. D. Hydropneumothorax. Presence of both fluid and air in the pleural cavity. Edema means presence of pus in pleural cavity. 2. Costal and peripheral parts of the diaphragmatic pleurae are innervated by intercostal nerves. Hence, irritation of these regions cause referred pain along intercostal nerves to thoracic or abdominal wall. Mediastinal and central part of diaphragmatic pleurae are innervated by phrenic nerve. Hence, irritation here causes referred pain to tip of shoulders. 3. Pain on right shoulder occurs due to inflammation of gallbladder, while on left shoulder is due to splenic rupture. 4. Pleural effusion causes obliteration of costodiaphragmatic recess. 5. Pleura extends beyond the thoracic cage at following areas: right xiphicostal angle, right and left costovertebral angle, right and left side of root of neck as cervical dome of pleura. This is the aspiration of pleural effusion which we discussed earlier. 7. The pleura may be injured at these sites during surgical procedures. These sites have to be remembered. During inspiration, pure air is withdrawn in the lungs. At the same time, deoxygenated blood is received through the pulmonary areas. Thus, an exchange of gases occur at the level of alveoli. The deoxygenated blood gets oxygenated and sent via pulmonary veins to the left atrium of heart. The impure air containing carbon dioxide gets expelled during expiration. Hope you have understood the video. Like, subscribe and press the bell button for more videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching.